definitely have a way of doing that, don't they? But this time last year, my best mate Harry had just been here, and we were like gearing up, ready to sort all the steel, order the steel. And if you've been following for a while, you'll realise or remember that we didn't get that mortgage. So over the winter, I've just been focusing on work to help pay the bills, pay for nursery, and keep things rolling. And now we're here, and I've like fully got my head in the game. We have a plan for the steel that is nearly ready to be implemented, and as we've got the mortgage and I've been able to like open my brain emotionally to invest it into the project, I have learnt more about the plan from the engineer, and I guess my like knowledge of how the drawings work and being able to read things a bit better has got a bit more in depth, if that makes any sense at all. And so it's interesting to come in here with the understanding that I had last year versus where I'm at now. And there's a few changes that aren't changes, they're just things that I didn't understand from the first time that I received the package from the engineer. So I was under the impression that we were going to have to do this detail that I'm about to explain on every single footing of every single leg of these A-frames that we're putting in. And I thought I'd just explain it, and then I can explain what has, in my understanding, changed, which is good because it's a little bit less work. So this is the existing slab in the barn. We're going to need to pour a new one over here where you can see it's just type 1 or MOT or MOT or whatever you want to call it. On this here and the first run of steel over there, we have to excavate this area here, which will make up the second half of this footing for the leg that comes down here. We have to dig this out and then drill some holes into the existing slab and use some chemical fixing compound and pop some rebar in or threaded rod. And then once that's gone off, you pour this side of the footing that the steel will rest on in here, and it ties itself together so you have a solid base for the steel to come down and get bolted into the floor. So as we can see here, we've got another red mark from from when I was here last year with Harry. And both of mine and Harry's understanding just off the drawings was that the same detail is going to be repeated for 1, 2, 3 of these. Can you, Woody, just shut up? So we were going to repeat the same detail that I've just explained 3 more times over here. As I've talked to different steel fabricators and installers, and just generally spent more time, like I was saying, reading the drawings and entertaining the fact that we're actually going to do this, I have managed to sort of figure out that the reason of what I'm about to explain, that the engineer did it this way, is that we don't have to cut everything out like we'd explained we were going to have to. And actually what happens on this side, if I can stand on here without dying, is we build the blockwork up, we install a concrete lintel at the top level, and then we have tiny little stumpy legs rather than the long full height that get chemical fixed into the lintel. So we get the stubby foot, we mark the 4 holes that we're going to fix it through, drill and chemical fix some threaded rod into the lintel, and then we just bolt it down. So then the blockwork will be all the way up, and Bob's your uncle. So there's a couple of things that need to happen before we can start, which I'll explain, and then I can take you through the order in which stuff's going to happen. I've got reclaimed steel from a barn that my friend took down a couple of weeks ago in Marlborough. Because it's reclaimed steel, you can't with 100% say the certainty of the grade of the steel. So I've got the engineer running calculations that hopefully will prove that the milder steel that's the same dimensions is strong enough to stack up with the calculations that he's made. Hoping that that's going to be fine because the steel that's already in there is that grade. There is a chance that the steel that's being reclaimed is the strength that he has stipulated anyway, but it's just a safety measure, and the fact that we have to have so much insurance. I think it's 5 policies in the end to get the mortgage. I want to make sure I'm ticking all the boxes and doing things the right way. So once that's signed off, we take the roof off, we dig the holes, we take one of the apexes of steels out. That goes to the fabricators and they're going to trace it. So we have 3 more identical ones coming. And we dig the holes for the footings. At that point, we have to down tools and we need building regs and 2 of the insurers to come over and sign everything off at those stages. And then once they're all happy, we can pour, we can put the steel in, and then we can bang the roof on. So, literally, just got a text from the engineer, which I will read, because I read the summary of it. Hi Ross, apologies, work got away from me last week. I've revisited the design and it is possible to use the lower grade reclaimed steels for the new rafter beams. However, on a rafter grid line will require some modification, which is fine. Which is just a couple of welding details, which is excellent. Happy days. The other thing is that we don't even know if it is the lower grade steel. So I think we're covered on all bases there. So a lot has happened since I last gave you a proper update. We've got pretty much 80% of the steel in. and it's super exciting. There's a few little details that need to be finished off, a few things squared up a little bit more, but it is really coming together. So we've got 1, 2, 3 new apexes in. They're all chem fixed down onto those pad stones. We have this beam in here, which is where this door will open like this, and then the other big slider will come all the way back to here and bifold up against this, so we can look out over that view, which is epic. We've also got how many? 1, 2, 3 lintels in for windows so far, which is exciting. We got the block work done for the entrance portico, and building control have been and signed off the pads that we needed to pour for the steel, as you can see, because we filled them in and the steels are in it. And I got the structural warranty guy around, and everything's admin wise is taken care of, which is the least dopamine rewarding bit for me here, and 150% of my time. But the boys have crushed it up here. The weather's been good. So originally we had 2 box steel for 2 box profile steel legs going up here that held 1 plate over that supported this. And once we got the engineer to recalculate for using the reclaimed steel, he spec'd we just needed 1 leg up here, and I can't remember what that is. I think it's 1.5 meter plate that is then bolted onto the steel to support that up. That then allows this to cantilever over, so we have a nice open entryway here. That's cool. And we've got all the block work built up here for the entryway, and this long 10.5 meter steel which is joined here where it cantilevers. It's all supported by the block work, and we've got 1 more of these leg guys that have been sorted here that's going to go there, and that is that part of everything wrapped up. One detail that is still left to do is the eaves, all these timber eaves which run all the way around, are to be taken out and replaced with steel. And I knew that from the start, but for somehow over the last 6 months, year, I've convinced myself that we just were going to leave the timber ones. So it was to my delight when I was giving Harry a little video update that which we can cut to him telling me all of this stuff a year ago when he was here with me. He was like, yeah, it looks great, mate, but you know you have to sort those eaves out. And I was like, I knew I shouldn't have said it to you until I'd done that. But yeah, you're right. And then went back through all the drawings, and he was like, when you refer to like 5.1 blah 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 blah, and I was, yeah, he's right. So get the lads up, we had a chat, and it's no problem, it's all going to get sorted. And here we've got our massive windows for our bedroom and for our bathroom. This line here, which I don't know if you can see, is the top of the mezzanine deck that I'm going to build here. So you'll come up some steps here, and then this will be the floor of our master bedroom, and our bed will be somewhere around here. Our wardrobe space over there, or Meg's wardrobe space over there, and then the bathroom here. Initially I was hoping that this floor height, or I hadn't really thought it through, but the floor height would be a bit higher so you could kind of see out into the field, but doesn't look like it now. But this is where that like nice wildflower garden I've planted is, and it is vibey to look out for, 6 months of the year. and I think I will probably hide all that concrete with the same cladding as the barn, so it'll look nice and neat rather than just massive concrete panels, which actually I think look kind of cool, but the aesthetic that we're shooting for is probably going to be a bit better achieved with some nice timber cladding. But it's crazy to see these in because they're absolutely huge. And the window guys were like, there are some big windows. And I was like, they don't really look like it on paper, but then once you've got the hole cut in the wall, you're like, well, those window guys sure do know what they're talking about. Which I guess that's sort of the main point that I'm in right now, is the floor plan is sort of coming together and we're sort of getting a understanding of how things lie, how big it is, and a sort of general feel for what the house is going to be like. And sometimes I think it looks really big, sometimes I'm like it's not enough space, but yeah, it's just exciting to be figuring it out. Woody, shut up.